we've talked about this gal that slept with 100 men in 24 hours before. Her name is Lily Phillips. I think we talked about her in a couple different shows. And now Candace Owens was on not her own podcast, but she was a guest. She and Lily Phillips were both guests on a different podcast. And that podcast allowed Candace to confront Lily about the fact that there were these clips that were going around social media, I guess, last week of her crying immediately after she finished that day with the 100 dudes. But I watched the whole documentary, it was 40 minutes on YouTube. And it turns out that the clips were kind of taken out of context, because the reason that she was crying was not because she was, traumatized
or hurt.
Yeah. She wasn't at all traumatized by the experience. She felt bad that she wasn't able to pleasure the guys the way that they expected. That was genuinely why she was crying, because she didn't give enough time to some of the guys who were expecting a full 5 minutes, and she was only able to give them 3, and that's why she was crying. The girl is just a whore. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
I think that people are just so hesitant to accept that fact. Like, they want to think that she's a victim, and they want to think that, oh my God, we have to save her. And like, sometimes girls are just like that. She is like that. They exist. They're out there, and that's the thing. I mean, maybe she just is kind of a skanky hoe.
Yeah, and she has no regrets, obviously, because now she's up in the ante to 1,000 guys in 24 hours, which is almost impossible. Like Candace even pointed out, that's one guy per 86 seconds.
Oh my God.
That's how quickly. I mean, it's like she's going to be like on a conveyor belt, essentially. Like I don't even know how that's going to work. I don't want to know how that's going to work. But anyway, she's doing that. She's gung ho about it. She could not have less regret about what she went through. And Candace, I mean, I get what she's trying to do. She's trying to speak rationally to her, get her to understand she's worth more than what she's doing to herself. But this seems to fall on deaf ears. Here's a little bit of their
to make light of the situation, but in the moment, you were crying, and I get obviously what attracts you to this. I'm not gonna be patronizing in these questions. It's money and it's fame. These are demonic possessions. What people will do for this sort of attention. You're getting a lot of it right now because you've done something. You're saying you're going to do something that no person has done, and sleep with 1,000 people in one day. But how do you ignore what you felt after that and how you felt after that, and just put on a happy face and pretend that it's normal when it so clearly was not? Like, you clearly were traumatized by the experience.
I personally don't think I was traumatized. I chose to do this. This was something that I wanted to do. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it was fucking easy, but I don't think I was traumatized from it at all. I think as well, obviously, from what you might have seen from the documentary, like a lot, the good points I talked about was also very much cut out. At the end of the day, they're there to tell a narrative. And that's kind of the narrative that they went for, is like, this seems like a sad girl, and I don't want people to pity me or feel sorry for me. This is what I chose to do.
Right, but why were you crying? Are you saying these were happy tears?
No, I was extremely overwhelmed. Like, it was very intense. And yeah, I mean, the experience was obviously, like, we had like an hour conversation after, and obviously when he started probing me about some experiences in it, it was, it brought up some tears. I'm a very emotional girl, so I cry a lot.
And it's, the men are just as bad.
Oh my God, the men are vile.
The men are just as bad as her. Yeah, she totally needs help. She does, but it's her. This is the thing. I think people are trying to somehow make her a victim in all this, but she's the one setting it up. She's the one doing it. And she's inviting these dudes who are these dudes? I mean, they are just the scum of the earth. These dudes that agree to do this. Gross. I'm judging them just like I'm judging her.
Mm-hmm. You guys, if you're looking for your kind of online pharmacy, we have just the place for you. allfamilypharma.com/chicks. If you want to get reliable medications, treatments, they have everything to cover flus, COVID, even cancer support, general wellness. They've got everything either packaged into like kits, if you like a kit to be prepared for any potential illness, or if you know specifically, I want to have ivermectin on hand, I want to have hydroxychloroquine on hand, I want to have albuterol on hand. You can get individual medicines however you want to do it. That's what makes allfamilypharma.com/chicks so freaking handy. And you can use code CHICKS10 to get 10% off of your entire order, no matter what you decide to order, whether it's an emergency kit or whether it's one medicine or a bunch of different medications. Take control of your health. Don't go to urgent cares when you know you just have, some sort of bacterial infection that you can easily just take antibiotics for, that you can get from allfamilypharma.com/chicks. And again, that's code CHICKS10 to get that 10% discount.
It's just all gross. It's all gross. And no, none of this should be normalized. In fact, it's kind of like, Mock and I wrote in our book 10 years ago about shame and how shame we need to bring that and make that great again. Shame. This is one of those situations where this chick needs to be shamed. It's gross. This is behavior that is it's disgusting. It needs to be called out for what it is. Am I supposed to feel sorry for her? No, she's making a ton of money doing this. She's making money, and she's showing and there are other girls on OnlyFans doing stuff like this that make gajillions of dollars every single year. When, I've taught my daughters, you go out there and you be a good person in society, you be a good woman, you believe in God, do the right things, and work for a living.
Mm-hmm.
These chicks are out there just being hoes. And that's prevalent in this age group. A lot of girls out there who are young see her and they think, well, why would I go get an education? Why would I go do this? When I can just get on camera, or maybe not do exactly what she's doing, but even these OnlyFans girls, they could get on camera and show their bits and pieces and make tons of money. It's gross. It needs to all be shamed. All of it.
Well, and Candace talked to her, asked her about her family, because in the documentary, she tells the guy that's the documentary maker, she's like, oh yeah, my parents are totally supportive. My mom handles all the finances.
I bet she
my
does.
Dad's totally supportive.
Mm-hmm.
She's got this intact family. And so, but Candace pressed her on that and said, your mom is abusing you. She was like, no, she's not. This isn't abuse. I mean, she just wants to help me. That's all she's doing. She just wants to help me. And Candace was like, she's allowing you to be violated without encouraging you not to do it. And ultimately it came out from Lily that her parents don't want her to do this, but they don't want to lose their relationship with her, that they have tried to talk her out of it, but that at this point they know that if they keep pushing, they will lose her forever. So they just have her in their lives in the only way that she allows them to, which is as a whore. And I don't know, man. I don't know what I would do in that situation as a parent. I just have no idea. Outside of begging and insisting that your child corrects the behavior, what do you do? Do you just give up on the relationship? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that, but if her mom is handling stuff, she's obviously taking a cut financially. So it's all gross.
That's disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting. And her father? How can you be a father? I mean, seriously, it's what would I do? I know what my husband would do. He'd be beating the crap out of every single guy that got near one of our daughters. And that so they wouldn't even stand a chance. You know what I mean? This is the thing. There's I don't know. What would we do? I can't even wrap my brain around that, Mock, because
it's just not in the realm of possibility.
No, it isn't in the realm of possibility, because there's such a disconnect between that and me. I'm sorry, but it would not happen. It wouldn't happen. It's because you raise girls to believe in themselves and have strength in their character and to be godly and to love themselves and to respect themselves enough to not do that. What? I don't want to listen. It's we're not supposed to shame other people, but we should. We need to start doing that more and more, especially as women. Feminism has ruined so much for us.
Yeah.
And that is one of the things that it's done is don't slut shame. Don't do this. Don't shame her. Well, maybe if there was some shame in this child's life, she wouldn't be doing this.